For any of you who are watching the news or kept your eye on your social media feeds,
According to a report from THR, Warner Brothers is in the early stages of developing a reboot and relaunch of The Matrix, with Zach Penn in talks to write a treatment and Michael B. Jordan eyed to star. The report goes on to mention that at this point, the Wachowski siblings, the original writers and directors, are not involved. The project is still in the very early stages of planning, so a release date is still far from being determined. John, thoughts on a Matrix reboot with Michael B. Jordan potentially starring?
What? I mean, I got these reports yesterday. I'm like, seriously? But here's the thing. I'm reading the report, right? And on one hand, saying they're looking at rebooting Matrix. But at the same time, the report out of the Hollywood Reporter is saying that they don't even really know who's going to be involved in it. Maybe the Wachowski sisters will be involved in it at this level. Maybe they won't. That maybe this person will be, they're getting Zach Penn, who's written a lot of very cool stuff, to write up a treatment. So when they say reboot, I'm wondering, do they mean remake that Matrix movie? Or do they mean get this thing kickstarted again and now pick up 20 years after Neo died? I mean, spoiler alert, I guess. Does this thing pick up like 20 years after Neo died and they're rebooting it as in just getting it going again? I think, look, if they're doing it to just get the story going again, I'd be more into that. The whole idea about remaking the original Matrix, it just feels like, this isn't like The Incredible Hulk, where The Incredible Hulk is a 70-year-old character that you can re-pick up and insert him in different stories. This is The Matrix. This is a standalone story. So how you do that, I'm not really sure. So until I hear whether they're just continuing the story or actually remaking The Matrix, I don't know how to feel about it. Mark, you heard about this. What do you think?
I'm taking the red pill on this one, John. Is that that's the one that you take if you want to stay like oblivious to everything?
That's the blue pill.
Wait, the blue pill?
Yeah.
I saw The Matrix a couple times and really liked it. I tried to watch Reloaded and my head hurt after 10 minutes and I was like, not for me. Then Revolutions didn't even bother with it. So that was a spoiler for me. But before I knew that, I was like, oh, why don't you just continue that universe with Keanu Reeves coming back? I mean, it's not like Keanu Reeves can't do action anymore. Have you seen John Wick? Have you seen John Wick 2? He's ready to go. So you could bring in Michael B. Jordan as like a mutt, like a Shia LaBeouf to Keanu Reeves' Harrison Ford. But to continue that story, you might have to massage a little bit of what the sequels did. I wasn't a fan of the sequels, obviously, or at least the 10 minutes that I saw. I see a lot of other people have mixed reactions to that. So what it seems to me, gentlemen, is that they want to get The Matrix to be back to a banner franchise for Warner Brothers, but they're not sure exactly how to do it yet. The fact that they want The Matrix back in the public consciousness, more movies in theaters, I think is good news. But rebooting The Matrix, what a landmark movie that was in 1999 when you had a little film called Star Wars The Phantom Menace come out. By the end of the summer, everybody was buzzing about The Matrix. That's an important movie, and I don't think it's so dated or old or needs to be rebooted yet, but I think you could add on to the lore that it built.
Schnapp, what do you think about all this?
Well, I think The Matrix is one of the greatest science fiction films ever made.
It's incredible.
It blew me away. I got tickets to see it back to back without knowing anything about it, just because it was a brand new science fiction film. And I was so happy that I could get back in line with a whole bunch of other sweaties. I was like, I've already seen it and it's amazing. So believe me, when I was so excited to see the sequels and they sucked, I was so bummed out. Like the Animatrix was great. It was like a cool look at different worlds inside the Matrix. But those two sequels just didn't do it for me. It had this really bad kind of television vibe to it. They were introducing thousands of different characters where really all I cared about was that Trinity, those main three characters, Morpheus, Neo, and Trinity. I mean,
Right.
They were the main characters. They introduced some guy with screaming at gun, I'm going to kill the insects. I don't know. It's just, if you haven't seen, what was it, Revolutions?
Revolutions and was the last one in Reloaded.
Anyway.
I was physically ill watching it, and so I decided to take care of myself and turn the movie off and take some
Good
Anacin.
job. Never see it. That's all. So I had sold all of my Matrix stuff after those movies came out, and then recently, 2 years ago, rebought the original Matrix because I was like, that movie is the shit. So I'm with John as far as don't do a reboot. Do a takeoff from where is the Matrix now? We're like so many years forward. I mean, yeah, some of the characters have moved on and gone on, but what has the Matrix evolved into? And I'd like to see that with Michael B. Jordan. I'd like to see a fourth movie that kind of takes into account the first movie, disregards a lot of the second and third movie, and successfully not reimagines it, but gets a new Matrix going.
What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, I think we might have a David Hayter, Bryan Singer situation where David Hayter wrote the first 2 X-Men movies, which Bryan Singer directed. When Bryan Singer was out for the 3rd X-Men movie, David Hayter was like, look, he kind of gave me my bump, so if he's out, I'm out. So that's why you have a different writer and different director for the 3rd X-Men movie. So I feel like, although bringing back Keanu Reeves would be a logical thing, I feel like if the Wachowskis put Keanu Reeves on the map, he might have that loyalty where it's like, look, if they're not coming back, I'm not coming back.
He has said that.
Yeah, you can't make me do it. So they're going to have to go another direction. I do agree that instead of a reboot, you can have everything that happened, because in The Matrix Revolutions and Reloaded, although they hurt all of our brains, they did address the fact that like the one is an anomaly that keeps happening. So Michael B. Jordan could be the next one. So that could make sense. All I know is it necessary? No, because I'm with you. I own the first Matrix movie. I do not own the sequels, and the first
architect,
one is the shit.
architect.
Yeah, the Colonel
get
Sanders
outta
chicken
here.
for sure. I do know that, check this out, if they call it The Matrix Reboot, that's the title. It's still applicable, and it would probably be titled that. So look out for that. The Matrix Rebooted is coming at you.
I am actually I'll admit it, I'm one of the few guys who I actually didn't mind The Matrix Reloaded, the one with the twins and stuff like that. And Seraph. I thought Seraph was a really cool
The
character.
Keymaster.
Yeah, like I thought they did enough cool things in it that it was definitely a big step down from the first one. But not even I can defend Revolution. I mean, that was just horrible. But, I mean, if you wanted to try to work this, and it doesn't sound like they are, but if you want to try to work this to get the Wachowskis back on board and get Keanu Reeves back on board, I mean, remember, if you go off of Revolutions, I mean, we know that Neo has been there hundreds of times already. They've gone through this loop in this circle, so there's really not that much jamming you have to do to come up with a quote-unquote logical way about why Neo can come back. So I guess there are ways they could do that. We'll just have to wait and see what they got in store.
Look, I mean, if you look at all the Keanu Reeves movies, I'd be cool with them rebooting The Matrix as long as they don't reboot Point Break.
I think it's time to do a remake or a reboot. With The Matrix, the very last Matrix, I think, came out in 2004, so it still feels too fresh to do a remake. That's why I like incorporating it, making a further sequel. I think it could work with the Matrix if they do it right.
All right, what's next?
Cut to Black writes, you guys aren't on board for the Matrix reboot, so what about the Lego Matrix movie?
You know what?
Is there a Lego Matrix?
You remember, I shit on the whole idea of the Lego movie in the first place, and after I saw it, I was like, I am officially out of the doubting Lego business. I'm never going to doubt them again, especially after Lego Batman. Who the hell wants to see an Ninjago movie? I do now, because it's being done by the guys at Lego, so I'd be totally fine for it. What do you guys think?
As a fan of Conker's Bad Fur Day, I love me a good Matrix spoof. So hey, if Lego can do it well, then why not do it well? Sure, I'd be down with the Lego.
I want to see what a Lego spoon looks like when it's like, there is no spoon. It's like a weird block. I would totally see a Lego. Yeah, that's right. I would totally see a Lego Matrix movie. I'd love to see that.
I'd like to see a Lego Matrix like a bit in a larger Lego movie. I don't know that I want to see a whole standalone Lego Matrix movie. The next Lego movie I'd love to see is Lego Indiana Jones. It's a fun game to play. It's a great way. You're going to have a lot of fun with an Indiana Jones Lego flick.
There we go. All right, guys, that'll do it for this installment of Movie Talk. Thanks so much for joining us. I want to thank the guys sitting at the table with me. First of all, again, celebrating the 100th episode of Collider Heroes, Jeremy Johns.
You can find me at Jeremy Johns on YouTube, Twitter, the rest of the internet. You can find my show Awesome-tacular on the Verizon Go 90 network, where I have a lot more to say about the Matrix reboot this week. Check it out on Friday.
That'll do it for us, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Until next time, bye-bye.